Alrighty, guys, we're back for Big Jeskai Outlaws, and this is an Outlaws at Thunder Junction Standard Brew, and I'm Redcat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, this was a suggestion down in the comments, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. We got Double Down packed in here. It's a 3 of a 4 mana enchantment. Whenever you cast an Outlaw spell, copy that spell. So Outlaws are Assassins, Mercenaries, Pirates, Rogues, and Warlocks. Nice. So we have a whole bunch of rogues packed in to work well with Double Down, like Mage's Attendant here, 3 mana, 3/2, and 1 ETBs. You get a 1/1 blue wizard creature token with, for 1, you can sacrifice this creature, counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 1. Beautiful stuff. Other rogues, we got all 4 Charming Scoundrels. We got all 4 Generous Plunderers as well. Hopefully, ramping us better than it ramps the opponent. We also have a 1 of Riveteers Requisitioner as well. Also, this is a Lizard Rogue, which is actually pretty cool. So all these extra rogues fitting that rogue theme as well as a ramp theme in here too. So hopefully we're going wide enough with the Mage's Attendant and Double Down combo because we got Warleader's Call in here as a 4 of. It is a 3 mana enchantment. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, Warleader's Call deals 1 damage to each opponent, of course. I'm not really sure why I went over this because we get to see it all the time in Boros. So while we're here at the front of the build, guys, I'd like to go over my little onslaught of spot removals. We have a 1 of a Braid to be able to target artifacts as well. Destroy Evil can help us target enchantments and also toughness 4 or greater creatures. Then we also have a couple of Fateful Absence as well. And in this build in particular, every now and then, it's not going to happen often, but you may target one of your own creatures to get a clue and draw a card. In this deck in particular, that's going to work well with like Mondrak, for example. So like if you're getting a lot of extra tokens already, like extra wizards and stuff, you might drop a Fateful Absence on one of those extra creatures, get a couple extra clues because of the Mondrak on the board or something crazy, and then get a couple card draws off the clue. That's not going to happen often, but that is why I chose this as the spot removal, but this could totally be your spot removal of choice. So Mondrak in here specifically says 1 or more tokens would be created under your control. Twice that many of those tokens are created instead. I wanted to compare that to Mr. Tack here on the top end, Deepest Foundation. This is a 6 mana 6/6 with Vigilance. This one says creature tokens would be created under your control. 3 times that many of those tokens are created instead. So not like treasure tokens and stuff. This specifies creature token. I would also like to point out from the Mondrak and the Tack that Double Down, while it does say copy that spell, and usually like copies become tokens and stuff, I don't believe that those tokens are doubled off of Mondrak or the Tack. Just like how it's worded and stuff. If Double Down specifically said like create a token that's a copy of it, then I think it would double. But in this case, it does not double. So that's definitely something to look out for. Definitely noteworthy too. But I still think the Mondrak and the Tack are going to be worthwhile because we're generating so many tokens everywhere else anyways. We also got the Hellspur Posse boss here. This is also a lizard rogue. Hey, maybe we should make a lizard deck at some point, huh? That would be pretty cool. Anyways, this is a 4 mana, 2/4. Other outlaws you control have haste, which is kind of wild, man. So when this ETBs, you create 2 1/1 red mercenary creature tokens with, you can tap it, target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn, activate only as a sorcery. So if you have Hellspur Posse Boss coming down a turn after Warleader's Call, that's 3 creatures hitting the board, which happens to be pretty good. And all of them are hasty because of the Posse Boss, but then all of them are buffed up as well because of the Warleader's Call, which is kind of wild, man. It's kind of really cool synergy between this Hellspur Posse Boss and the Warleader's Call. Definitely look out for this card in the future. We have another thing that's helping us create tokens, the Apprentice's Folly here, 4 mana enchantment saga. For the first 2 chapters of the saga, choose target non-token creature you control that doesn't have the same name as a token you control. You create a token that's a copy of it, except it isn't legendary. That's huge with the Mondrak and the Tack. It's a reflection in addition to its other types, and it has haste as well. And then on chapter 3, you sacrifice all reflections you control. What's important for the Apprentice's Folly is actually having multiple creatures out there that aren't tokens and different creatures, right? So, and anything with ETBs happen to work really well with this too. So Mage's Attendant, Scoundrel, all that. Anything with death triggers works really well with it. So like Riveteers Requisitioner. Yeah, yeah, a lot of really neat combos. Hopefully, I landed on something over here in the mana base too. Seat of the Empire, Soaring City, and Crucible of Defiance all making the cut. We got late game blue with the Stormcarved Coast and the Deserted Beach. We have Anytime Boros and late game Boros with Sundown Pass. A couple Cavern of Souls you're calling Rogue more often than not, but there might be moments where you call like Phyrexian so that way Mondrak doesn't get countered or something. Okay, guys, no honorable mentions today. Definitely let me know in the comments what should have at the very least been in the honorable mentions. What did I miss? In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? Nothing. I am expecting absolutely nothing. This should be super jank. In other words, I'm expecting fun. A fun time, and that's pretty much it, right? But no, it should be super janky. We do have a lot of neat combos and everything packed in, but pulling off combos in standard is pretty tough sometimes, man. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I mean, we have the white source for the Attendant. We should mulligan. Opponent goes first here too, so... Okay, we'll keep this. Hopefully that's better. We're mana fixing a lot with our early game treasures and whatnot, so... That's one of the reasons why hopefully the mana base is good enough here. Okay, we'll start with the Stormcarved Coast. Right up against mono red aggro, probably. Gonna be tough. Okay, mountain comes down. It is a monstrous rage. The classic 1-2-3 punch from mono red. Mondrak. All right, let's get the Plunderer down. It doesn't block well. Doesn't block well here at all. We don't have too much early spot removal in here, so we can't complain too much that we don't have any. And even if we did, a lot of it is like Fateful Absence and stuff. Oh, Carpolution Forest. So it is Gruul, actually. Gruul with the mono red shell. Well, I think we're in trouble either way, so I am going to keep the Plunderer around and get that ramp going. Mondrak, number 2. We actually don't have double white. Or the Mondrak. This is awkward. Let's get that mountain down, and we mulligans too. We could go like Apprentice's Folly. Copy the Plunderer, but that's all we'll get. You want multiple creatures on the board before the Folly hits. Double down, no extra Outlaws in hand. Uh-oh. And probably dead next turn anyway, so let's get the Apprentice's Folly down. And we could keep them both back for blockers and try to survive. Or we could just swing and let mono red go in. It's a pretty fun swing. They take 2 damage and then another 4 here. Now, I'll try to survive. We'll see what happens here because we could block with the token and then make another token of the Plunderer next turn too. Questing Druid. Nice. That's a reason to go Gruul for sure. This is one that we have to look into more because we keep seeing it pop up, but I haven't really played with it much. Aw, they go double strike on the Shoff, so we ended up dying even though we kept the extra blockers back. So we'll block here. I guess we'll full block. Trample gets through. Good game, opponent. We only got 3 turns, guys. No. Not the most ideal of first games, but at least I went in saying I wasn't expecting too much from the build. All right, let's keep the ball rolling, though. I think we could totally do much, much more than whatever the heck we did there. So with the double strike in the air, they were going to get through regardless, even if we did have the correct mana to get the Mondrak onto the board. But that game does note something very important. The double white in Mondrak might be a little greedy for certain 3-color decks. But I don't think it's going to be that greedy, especially with a lot of mana fixing. Guys, I didn't go over Redcap Thief also making the cut because it's a rogue that helps us mana fix too, so I did not go over that. First of all, much better hand. A no real reason to mulligan here. Ooh, especially now that we got a 2-drop as well. Very nice. Orzhov, Nurturing Pixie. Oh dear. Okay, we got some Orzhov Blink over there, most likely. Turn 3, Mondrak with Plunderer on the board. Oh, Plunderer is no longer going to be on the board. I'll tell you what, though. Turn 3, Mondrak. That could have been really cool. Establishing Warleader's Call when there's not a lot of pressure on us right now could be good too. Going Treasure with the Thief could be good. Just like, let's just establish the call. And discard the Stormcarved Coast maybe, because I don't think we're going to need the double blue right now. And I think keeping Crucible as utility is a little better, and I don't want to get rid of any of the creatures, so Stormcarved Coast. Now they'll have the -2 on Liliana, but that would be pretty good for us actually. Duress misses for the first time ever on the channel. No, don't quote me on that, but honestly, dude, Duress always hits its mark. Oh, double down a turn later too. Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right, let's get that double down and established and discard the Redcap Thief when it comes time. Dude, I don't even know. I don't even know right now because anything could be good here. No, because it could be another Duress too from the opponent. So let's get the double down on the board. Really good draw a turn after the Duress. They do have Restless Fortress to power up if they want. Plus on Liliana's probably Redcap Thief because I want to pop off with the Mondrak and the Mage's Attendant. But we don't have double white without the Thief's Treasure. I think is a little punishing, but it's going to happen every now and then with 3-color builds. Maybe it is Mondrak. Mondrak doesn't work with double down, and we could see more, and we'd rather just have double Redcap Thief on the board instead. I think that makes a lot of sense. Huh? Rite of Oblivion. Crap, dude. Crap. Yeah, double down's out of here, which means Mondrak was our best hope. Well, that sucks. Call Rogue on Cavern, that's fine. Actually, Phyrexian on Cavern's fine too. Maybe I should have held the Cavern. Because that could be our second white source if we see a second Mondrak. I'll go Rogue though, because that's the majority of the deck list. Oh, almost messed up there. Redcap Thief first, because the treasure is untapped. And then Mage's Attendant. Dude, this would have been wild if we actually got to keep the double down on the board, huh? That could have been so good. It's still pretty good. That was a really excellent turn. We'll pop the Wizard just because it's the weakest link right now. Sarah Paragon. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. What do they bounce? Liliana. That's neat. That's actually really neat. Mana off the top is not great here, man. We're gonna have to start swinging, and we're gonna play that Cavern. This one will be Phyrexian. They go for the double block. Crap, they get to play Pixie out of the grave next turn. No, they don't. No, they don't. This actually gets exiled. So they do gain 2. So we lose 1. They lose 1. They go back up to 15. Sarah Paragon's still going to be a menace, though. And since we lost a creature, they're going to have us sacrifice it to the Liliana. Oh, no, guys. That's really, really bad, isn't it? Oh, no. That poor double down. Of course, Orzhov has other ways to actually remove enchantments. It just happened to be Rite of Oblivion this time round. Orzhov has plenty of other ways to deal with non-land permanents, or white, for example, right, has a whole bunch of ways to deal with enchantments. Like Destroy Evil is in this deck list as well. Well, I'm not conceding yet, but it is now a top deck war as the opponent has picked us apart. Well, if we don't Fateful Absence to Liliana, so if we go Fateful Absence onto Sarah Paragon, they have the plus on Liliana, bringing it back up. We're kind of in a Liliana lockdown since we're not seeing much else off the top. But if we pop the Liliana, they can bring it back with the Sarah Paragon because it's mana value 3 or less. So, and they have another one too. So I guess it's Sarah Paragon, and we do this before they draw. Since the Pixie's in the cut, it could be like full-on Blink too. They could have ways to protect the Sarah Paragon, not dead after all, stuff like that. We don't necessarily know what we're up against or know what's in the opponent's deck list, so just popping the Sarah Paragon is best bet, I suppose. Although they did have open mana for the clue. So if we would have waited the turn... Oh, another Duress, and they're going to power up the Restless Fortress. So I guess it wouldn't have mattered too much if we would have waited a little bit. City of the Empire, we can't even successfully hold this in hand because they start with the plus on the Liliana. Maybe they won't, though. So instead of playing it, I guess we'll hold it. Just in case we have a... There's a chance that they don't go plus. Well, it's a Virus Beetle off the top from the opponent. So this particular version of Blink is definitely the discard version. Dude, picked apart, huh? That's brutal stuff. Soaring City. The plus is going to happen on the Liliana, but it's same concept as last turn. What's the extra mana going to do on the table anyways? We might as well hope. Luckily, Soaring City can still be put on the stack, and I suppose at that point, it doesn't really matter. Because, of course, we'd much rather pick up the Restless Fortress. But either way, they have... Oh no, it's only 4 getting through actually now. Interesting. And they might, if they like what's in hand, they might get rid of the bat instead. It's actually going to be another Rite of Oblivion. So they got the swing with the Fortress and the Beetle. And next turn, if they really wanted to, they could pop the Warleader's Call. More mana off the top. Oh no, guys. Yeah, we tried to establish a little bit of setup, and it did not work out in our favor at all. Also, it took us a very long time to see double white, too. So I do think that Mondrak was the best discard, while we were keeping the rogues back to hopefully double down on the rogues. My poor, poor double down. Hopefully we could actually get something set up without the opponent completely picking it apart today, huh? Or dying before then, too. Is this the type of deck list that actually wants to run some board wipes? I don't know. I don't think so. Let me know in the comments what kind of board wipes could this successfully run, and I don't think this is a board wipe style of deck. Oh, the mana's really struggling though. No blue source for the double down. We should be okay. At least we have some early removal, and we're going first here too. I did test the mana base quite a few times to make sure that it was okay, so I'm hoping we see a little bit more, a little bit of a better order. Because even though I'm not expecting much, I still want to play the cards, you know what I mean? Yeah, any mana off the top, like we don't need double down right away, so literally anything leads us to a pretty good curve here. Of course, double down first would be much, much better. Doubling down on the Hellspur Posse boss. Now, it does read other outlaws you control. In and of itself, it is a rogue. So I do believe they would give themselves haste. I haven't been able to test that, but dude, check it out. Mana fixing and ramp. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, that's like the whole front end of the build, so And I accept that trade if you want. They do not accept that trade. Dude, here we go. Against mono blue, we might actually have a great chance of keeping something on the board. And that something is going to be a turn 3 double down. Although they do have certain cards every now and then that like returns non-land permanent to the owner's hand. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. I'm keeping Scoundrel as a blocker for the Ginger Brute for the turn. We might need a chump blocker on their turn 3. Because of the Azoetic Glyphs. High Speed Hoverbike taps the Scoundrel, and now they can get through successfully. That's not bad. It's not a bad turn for us either, because that means no glyph for the turn. So any mana off the top would be huge, but even if we don't see mana, it's totally fine. Moon Circuit Hacker doing the thing. Mana! Oh, buddy, we're doing the thing. I was hoping that we could get at least one game doing the thing. Let's go. Full swing. Go, 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 go. Wait, we're at 13. Are we going to die? No, I'm going for it. 7 attackers. If we keep anything back, they could find more tempo, more ways to tap the things that we kept back, you know? So we're just going, and we're actually, I mean, we're threatening lethal because our Outlaws have haste. Onto the bike. Opponent has a terrific swing here, but if they don't keep blockers back, they're going to die. Generous Plunderer is kind of wild, man. It deals damage to defending player equal to the number of artifacts they control. So it's going to be an extra 2 from the Plunderer, and we're actually getting 2 Plunderers down. Here we go. Here we go, dude. Double down on those Plunderers. Oh, opponent, please let me play it. Please let me play it. Yes, Mage's Attendant, double down. Dude, if opponent lets me swing, they are the true champions today. Yes, come on, swing. Let's go. Thank you so much, opponent, for letting me swing on in. How fun is that? Whee! Ah. Thank you, opponent. Just made my day. Bro. Let's just pretend that was the first game, huh? All right. I'll tell you what, turn 3 double down's kind of wild. When you're actually curving out like that, that's kind of insane, man. Like, it makes me wonder if there's actually a way to try to make it a little less janky and survive a little bit better for like that mid-game combo. At that point, it's not even that mid-game. Turn 3 double down, it was turn 4 Hellspur, and then turn 5 Obliterate, right? I think this is totally fine. Seems like a fine hand. And the mana's working out in this hand too. Yeah, let's just ignore those first 2 games, huh? They don't count. Plunderer. We might get a turn 3 double down here. We might not too, though. Just fine. We do have enough mana for now. Turn 3, turn 4, double down, double down. Slick shot, show off. Wow. Okay. Wow, fancy. Sundown Pass is fine here. We don't need to see more mana right now. We'll go for the swing because it is 3 damage. And then yeah, we don't need more mana. We need Outlaws now. We might skip the ramp on Plunderer because we are giving them quite a few benefits. Like any extra 1-drop that they can play while Slickshot Show Off is on the board is too much. Actually, Monstrous Rage this turn would be crazy from the opponent. It is. It's something. It's something. It is a monstrous rage. It buffs the show off. It gets the Godric into the air. And that's because of the treasure that we generated for them. So if I go treasure, what could we see? Because we're at 9, so we could die next turn easily. Okay, I'll take the action. Why not? No mana off the top. Ah, that's rough, actually. So I'll keep the blocker on the ground if by some miracle they don't get Godric into the air, but I'm pretty sure we're dead. No attacks. So there's, like, we had 2 games back to back where one showcased how good combos can be once you actually get it established, and then another one here where we're seeing combo pieces and getting them down quite effectively early on, but we're seeing nothing else to actually do with it too. So even if we didn't, so if we saw a creature instead, we wouldn't have played the second double down. We would have tried to establish just more onto the board. All right, good game, opponent. Yeah, we can't act surprised when they have all that mana that they're actually going to win here. They're not even going to get the Godric in the air. They don't need to because the show-off is so buffed up. Oh, now they're getting it into the air. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, dude. Even if we weren't ramping them, that was significant. We went to -11. I don't know if there was literally anything that we could have done outside of like actually having like a board wipe for the show-off and the Godric. Like a temporary lockdown. Now that affects too much. That affects too much for us, including our treasures and stuff. Yeah, temporary lockdown would be pretty bad. Well, yeah. This is not Jeskai control. This is a Jeskai ridiculous combo. Guys, I think we can end on a high note. Just based on how well it worked out that one game for us, I think, you know, when you're building a combo deck too, you're trying to make it so that way you can consistently see the combo well enough. And I mean, I think it's built well enough to see the combo pop off again. And we do have Warleader's Call this time too. Actually, seems like a pretty good hand. This seems like a pretty good hand, dude. Where do I want to start? Ooh. Actually going to go Plunderer here based on what the opponent's playing with the Restless Anchorage right now. So if we're up against Azor's Control, which we see very often, they usually hold their mana open, so we might get the treasure from the Plunderer anyways. It's going to be a get lost. Well, we tried. We're still curving out very nicely, though. We're going to get the Warleader's Call down while they're tapped out, so they can't counter that. The double Scoundrel not working well with the Apprentice's Folly. We definitely want to see another creature now, too. Because it's non-token creature you control that doesn't have the same name as a token you control. So if you copy Scoundrel once, you already have that token. We also got the blue source for the Apprentice's Folly now. Which is not half bad. We can go Scoundrel. Scoundrel. Wicked Roll, I guess. And then Scoundrel number 2, I guess, right? While they're tapped out, they could find board wipe pretty effectively here. Treasure not doing too much for us now. Trading out the other land could be good. Letting them keep the Jace isn't the best thing. Wicked Roll if at the very least we get to keep it all around. Actually gonna discard a card, draw a card. Trying to see more here. It's just more land off the top anyways. We could let them keep the Jace, but I don't know if that's the best idea. 5 damage to the Jace gets it off the table. 4th mana comes down. It is going to be a board wipe. Crap, dude. All right, things are right on time for the opponent so far. Warleader's Call, not bad. That's not bad at all. If we get to that late game and we get to keep these calls around, that could really do something. More setup with the double down likely gets countered, but Apprentice's Folly has no targets. So we try it. We let them do the counter, and maybe we can get some creatures. 3 steps ahead. They're going to go for draw 2, then discard a card as well on the 3 steps ahead. I'm actually feeling good right now, guys. If it comes down to, oh, okay, see, that's not bad. Plunderer is pretty good. If it lands, like, we're playing around a No More Lies. So we're getting 2 through from the call. Plunderer's Menace is good. We actually have map tokens for the turn too. We got some spot removal. Yeah, having the Warleader's Call established is so huge for us. The most devastating thing that the opponent could possibly do here is actually going to be Farewell. A Farewell would be the nail in the coffin for sure. But until then, all right, Mage's Attendant, we are getting good draws. We just need something to stick on this board for this Apprentice's Folly. See, last turn we were playing around a No More Lies. This turn we are not. It's going to be a full-blown 3 steps ahead anyways. Drawing 2, discarding 1. Keeping their hand nice and stocked while countering things is one of the reasons why we see so much 3 steps ahead nowadays. Oh, mana. We're going to play it. We're going to play it. No reason not to play it. We got a couple good draws in a row. We shouldn't be too let down by seeing mana there. Yeah, because we're still seeing some pretty good draws here. Oh, Wandering Emperor comes down and starts to establish a board state for the opponent. Dude. I've been seeing a lot more of this control. It is brutal every time we see it. We need them to miss their mark on our next draw. Charming Scoundrel, nice. Like I've been saying, like anything here. Anything. All right. We're going to swing at the Wandering Emperor. They're going to chump, of course. Then they have the... They do have the -2. Swapping out the Apprentice's Folly could be pretty good as well. I wish it wasn't a swap out, though. I'd rather play the Folly for the turn, which I think we're going to do. So maybe map token. So we go treasure, like that. They still have 3 cards open. So more spot removal could happen here as the Apprentice's Folly lands. And then Folly might just be like a dead card at that point. We'll see. Actually, we should try the map token first then, right? Because if they have removal, they'll want to do it on the stack of the map token. It might not be removal. Requisitioner is not terrible. We should keep any creature we see on the top. Apprentice's Folly for the last 4 here. A big thing for us would be, oh no, they do find the negate. So if we swing with Charming Scoundrel, they block and then they have the -2, but that's still Wandering Emperor gone. So I'm doing it. So they might not go -2, and we might get to keep the Scoundrel around. Now they still have Restless Anchorage here too. They do go -2, so Wandering Emperor number 2 could be in the opponent's hand, or they just decide that that is a worthwhile trade based on the fact that we're going to be swinging into it anyways. They also know we have the Requisitioner on the top. They keep Jace on top here. Going down to 13. So we have a decision to make. we could blitz the Requisitioner in and go for a swing. I think that's actually pretty good. Because when the blitz dies, of course, we get a card draw, and just seeing more creatures. Just seeing more creatures is much, much better. Also, if we don't blitz it, then we wouldn't have this incredible swing too. With both Warleader's calls buffing it. Plunderer off the top. Yes, any creatures, any of them. Dude, we can get there. Jace comes down. So the mill's going to happen. On themselves. Okay. Surveil. What do they want in the grave? Mondrak. Wow. Start with Mondrak, see what happens. Because we'll have 3 open still. No more lies. Do we let Mondrak land? Yes. Yes, we do, right? We pay the 3. Thanks to the treasure. Pokes the opponent. Come on, guys. Come on. They have to miss their farewell. They have to. Celestis. Their restless anchorages are scary. They go for depopulate. Creature off the top, and that's it, man. Creature off the top. Oh, they're going for the card draw, though. So they do have... Oh, it's going to be mana. Come on, creature. Let's go. Mage's Attendant comes down and ends this game with Warleader's Call. That's what I'm talking about, dude. GG opponent. How brutal was their deck list? And we were able to pull through with our Warleader's Calls on the board. Oh my goodness. Bringing the deck win rate back up to 40%. Fun stuff, dude. All right, let's go talk about this list. At the beginning, I always say like what I'm expecting from the deck list. And I said, I'm expecting nothing. I think it's going to be super, super janky. And that is correct. That is the case. However, that was pretty cool. And when we pulled stuff off, it was pretty fun too. Apprentice's Folly. This is one of those cards that you look at it and it's like, wow, you could do so many cool things. ETBs, death triggers, and like popping off with tokens, Mondrak, tack, all that stuff. But how the heck does anyone keep creatures on the board ever? Seriously, man. I don't know. I don't know how people keep things on the board. So I could see dropping this to 2 easily. Just going up some more removal will be fine, but also like another Requisitioner. In that last game, you saw how important seeing our creatures were. We only have 21 creatures. 22 could be fine. Another Requisitioner would also mean more mana fixing for when it actually dies too. So like two Follies, 2 Requisitioners. I'm just gonna make the change now because I think that would be a pretty good change, right? Also, you saw against control how good the blitzing actually is, especially when you're buffing it significantly with the Warleader's Call. All that was pretty cool, man. So again, I went over this while talking about the deck list at the beginning, but remember the double down extra copies. It doesn't say like create a token that's a copy, even though the copy comes in as a token. It doesn't work with the Mondrak and the tack. As far as I know, the double down does not work with these, but it's still worth having all of this extra in here, right? I think so. The triple double downs with the... We have 18 rogues packed in now that we added a Requisitioner. I actually really like it, and like having that extra setup. So it's actually pretty strange, and I bet some of you guys, you may have already dropped a comment about it, that it's a combo deck list without a lot of card draw. And that is pretty strange, and that's because we're splashing blue. We're not like, we're a Jeskai list, but like it's just a splash of blue. It's more close to Boros, splash that blue. Which is why it was super weird that we were really struggling in those early games, especially to see the double white source, because look at the mana base, man. That's actually really strange that we struggled that much. Here's our Boros colors. There's our white sources. And it continues. And don't forget, a lot of the white sources, that we need in the list can actually be covered by Cavern of Souls too, especially if you call Phyrexian on the Cavern. So we can kind of count that as well, but it won't be a white source for Fateful Absence and Destroy Evil either. So that's noteworthy. Of course, it could be a white source for the Mage's Attendant too. I can see dropping the Cavern down to 1 if you're concerned and just going up something else like a Deserted Beach. Actually, I'm gonna make that change right now too. Yep, I talked myself into it. Every now and then we get to the end of these and we have to make quite a few changes, and even though these changes aren't going to significantly change the deck list, I think that these will make it a little bit more consistent, and I don't know if the Cavern of Souls is actually going to be that necessary. Although in that last match, having a Cavern down and calling Rogue would have been pretty good because they had a lot of really good counter spells. But no, I think overall you need better mana fixing. Having a turn 1 Deserted Beach, we have no 1-drops. Deserted Beach comes down tapped. It is what it is. Then turn 2 Mountain or an untapped source like a Battlefield Forge. Now you have your 2 open. Now you can play anything else, right? Including like a Fateful Absence if you really need it or something. In the middle of the games there, I was wondering if this is the type of deck list that wants like a board wipe, and I still haven't really decided. Probably not. If you go like a depopulate or something and you depopulate all of your 2s and 3s, you're pretty sad about that. More so than whatever you wiped on the opponent's board, probably. However, when you are going up against brutal deck lists and they're wiping all of your creatures anyways, then an emergency board wipe after the fact, after you lost your creatures, could be pretty good. So definitely something to consider. There's definitely a reason I'm bringing it up here. So if we're looking at the splash of blue, we have the splash of blue with Stormcarved Coast and Deserted Beach Island and the Soaring City as well. If you're splashing blue, then having extra utility land on like Soaring City is of course going to be pretty good. Still opting for the 1 island in case they have like their what are the lands that pop other lands and have you grab a basic. I can't remember their name right now. Demolition Field maybe. Demolition Field's one of them. One of them's that's going to be sticking around too. And I forget what the other one's called, but you guys know what I mean. Having the island, like if they pop our only blue source that happens to be a Deserted Beach, then we can still grab that island. That all makes sense to me. So there's our splash of blue. Not a lot, honestly, but how else are we splashing it? Of course, Charming Scoundrel with its treasures, and Generous Plunderer with its treasures, and Requisitioner now with its treasures, as well as Redcap Thief too with its treasures. So pretty neat combo list. Definitely really janky. Put it on the do not craft list. Like seriously, do not craft by any means. If you have the cards already and it happens to look like a really fun time, then it might be a really fun time for you. But also it's just like standard's so devastating all the time. So it also might be very frustrating. You might be like 1 turn away from pulling off the combo. But we can pretty much say that about any combo list too. So yeah, that's just kind of how combo runs, and that's how it runs very often. Redcap Thief being 3 mana, I think this is still fine. I could also see like a 3rd Requisitioner. I really liked blitzing that in against Control, if you guys can't tell. But I still think the 1 of Redcap Thief is going to be fine and dandy. If we really want to continue the splash of blue, we could drop down to 2 double down instead. At that point, more stuff at the beginning of the game that can help you survive against the onslaught of mono red aggro. Right, mono red aggro nowadays, a lot of different aggro actually. You get to your turn 3 because they went first, and it's just like, I guess this is my last turn, and then you pass it back and they win. So what could help us survive against that? Like, there's a big reason we're seeing more earlier board wipes and stuff, like Temporary Lockdown and Path of Peril and stuff. So I could see dropping the double down. You're making the blue even more scarce in here, but that's still fine. Again, it's still just a splash of blue. Let's opt for some more survival here. Yeah, we're really changing this one up, huh? So, Abrade, Destroy Evil, double Fateful Absence. What would be good early survival that also fits the theme? Because, like, you know, Fateful Absence fits the token theme with the Mondrak, and every now and then maybe you'll pop a Requisitioner or something. Probably not, but yeah, that could happen. So if we go, since we have white in here already, we're dropping blue. So if we have white in here already, we can like look up exile real quick and see if there's anything that might fit. Sorcery instant, totally fine. Elspeth Smite is a good early one. It is. See, there's that Sunfall. Ew, disgusting. I see that definitely wouldn't work in here. March of the Otherworldly Light is actually a pretty good one. Artifact, creature, or enchantment with mana value X or less. And we do have 25 land in here, and 44% of the deck is actually white as well. But March of the Otherworldly Light could be good. I don't know if there's going to be too much in hand that we're going to want to get rid of to make it cost 2 or less. But we could have like an extra Mondrak or something. Outside of that, of course, it deals with early tokens quite nicely. Still looking at that Elspeth Smite, though, too. 3 damage is significant at 1 mana. We won't have, on turn 1, an open white source very often, though. Man, this is a tough decision, isn't it? Maybe some card draw instead. We dropped a blue source. What helps us draw well? We're still splashing the blue. What if it's just like a quick study or something? Although we are attacking very often in here. I could see a chart of course. Well, this is definitely your card of choice here. See, if we went even deeper into the blue sources, then of course like Memory Deluge or something that helps you just find the combos off the top would be pretty significant. But we're not doing that. We're keeping the splash of blue. So quick study. We went down a blue card. That looks a little funny, but funny in a good way. I don't know why I like that. That one of quick study. We have a lot of one ofs in here already. I like it. I'm keeping it. And it's just a common too. So this could easily be traded out for whatever you want. Early removal, a little bit of card draw. If you want to splash even more blue, you could drop that Thief for the second quick study too. I do think regular card draw is going to be pretty good. When it comes to blue cards, I tend to not know too much about like what cards are the best choice for blue. And so but I do like quick study, nice and simple. I always bring this up too. I love that classic art style on quick study as well. So, yeah, no, I like it. I think I'm keeping this. Okay. Well, hey, enough rambling, huh? I hope you had as much fun today as I had, at least in those victories, right? The losses were pretty brutal, but those victories were awesome. Guys, if you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you. Make sure you check out that description where we got that Discord link as well as that Patreon link too if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. It really does help the channel. It goes the extra mile. So thank you to all my patrons. Y'all are beautifully awesome. Okay, hey, I will see you in the next video.